Hey ladies, thanks for joining me. Today is all about mindset. And I like to go deep and I like to go fast so we can get some tips and some massive transformation. So we're just going to dig right in. The difference between the mind and the brain. So many people call this one thing. So we're not really sure. We think the brain is in there, but yet where does the mind come into play? So we're going to separate them. The brain is the physical organ. It is the most important organ. It is protected by our skull. It passes messages down from everything it sees, feels, hears, perceives to be true, down that spinal cord and then out all the nerves that control our everything and our every part. As my work as a chiropractor, obviously super important to make sure the brain is firing and the spine is moving. So that's the brain. The mind is so cool. The mind has three parts: the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and the unconscious mind. A lot of people put the sub and unconscious together. They are separate. I'm going to be very general in my description so you kind of get the gist of the power that thoughts play in our life and how we can start to retrain our thoughts to have a different reality in our life. Only 5% of our life and of our thoughts are conscious. Whoa! Yeah, that's crazy. The rest of it is stored somewhere else, subconscious, unconscious. That stores trauma. So everything that we experienced, see, felt, good, bad, memories, experiences, everything that becomes autopilot that we can pull from is actually our subconscious and unconscious. And this is why changing your mindset and healing the trauma works. If only 5% of our thoughts is like conscious and it's what we know, the rest of it is learned. And when we are in routines and when things become habitual, our body just does it. It does not have to think about it. Not because it actually knows what it's doing, that's conscious. It's because it's programmed. It is rooted in your unconscious part of your mind. How do we change it? We change it by changing our thoughts. Our thoughts change our beliefs, change our actions, change our results, changes our temperament, changes our experiences, eventually changes our personality, and now creates our personal reality, our right now. If we can begin to change a thought pattern that held us back, a limiting belief that stopped us from moving forward, a behavior that was all rooted from the trauma when you were 7 years old, you will change your current reality. You'll change everything. Once you change that thought, everything will change after that: belief, action, result, experiences, memories, temperament, personality, personal reality. How do we do that? Well, number one, everything is all about awareness. Awareness, intention, presence, think of those as very similar. But in my years of working with thousands of people, I would say the overriding umbrella is that we're not aware. We don't know what we're thinking and what we're feeling. It's just a habit. We just go through the motions. We're stuck in this hamster wheel and we wonder why in the hell life isn't what we want it to be. It's because you're not intentional with anything you're thinking, saying, or doing. It is just a habit. If you wake up every single morning and you hit the alarm, the snooze button 3 times, and you hit it with the same hand and you roll over the same way and you grunt and you groan and you get up and you're like, oh my God, do I really need to be up? And you go get a shower and you get your coffee and you get your kids to school or daycare, or you head into work. Work is the same old crap, different day, same people, same conversations, same crabbies, same deadlines, same bosses, same meetings. Come home and it's typically more of the same. Either you're carpooling and you're running back and forth, or you get home and you're making supper and you have a little bit of family time and they go to bed, you go to bed, and you start it all over. Well, eventually, if that remains the same, your body could do that with its eyes closed. So many times you hear people say, I don't even know how I got to work today. Autopilot, that is definitely autopilot. Your body and your brain just know what to do. Your brain does not know the difference between a dream and reality. It will give you whatever you put in. So if you're just going through and things aren't that good and you're kind of crabby and your health isn't that good, and I mean, all of these thoughts keep going, all rooted in lack and victim, you're going to completely get the same thing over and over. Why would you ever expect any different if you don't change how you think? You have to change how you think. Here's some tips. Number 1, puke on paper. This is not meant to be a diary. It's not meant to be a gratitude journal. It's not meant to have any rules. It's not meant to be pretty. It is meant to get everything in your brain out. Unconscious, subconscious, conscious. Anything that's taking up space. Because let's get real, we all think negative things at times. Most of us aren't aware of when we are. When we do, it's important to get them out. You don't want them creating a program in your subconscious for that. So if you're always frustrated about, oh my gosh, it just keeps happening, bad stuff just keeps happening, get through this little thing and the next thing, and then, well, no kidding, because that's what you're focused on. Bad things happening, or things go in threes. How about that one? Whatever you focus on, you get more of. Whatever you put your focus on, it will become, because your brain cannot decipher between a good or bad thought. It just is. Puke on paper. Positive, negative, clutter, scatter, everything goes on there. It goes on the paper until you actually feel empty and you feel like, oh, that actually feels good. I don't feel angry. I don't feel overwhelmed. I don't feel cluttered. I don't feel disorganized. And you know what? Because we think negative thoughts sometimes, and because experiences will store some of that, we have feelings and we have emotions that are tied to it. It's normal if you're writing to write some garbage out there. This is why I say it's not meant to be saved. It's meant to be ripped, burned. It's meant to just be this canvas of blah that you can get rid of and throw away, and then you start over, right? So puke on paper anytime. I have a notebook in my bathroom. I have a notebook on my nightstand. I have 5 million notebooks in this office. At work, I have one in my car, and I have my notes app on my phone for if I'm driving and I'm like super irritated or agitated. You can do that, or you can just talk to yourself. Whatever it is, get movement. Don't let that thought and that pattern be stagnant, okay? So puke on paper. And the second one is, how can you create a ritual or a routine for yourself that focuses on changing your mindset, or focuses on the really great stuff in life, the really awesome stuff all around you? Number 1, write what you're grateful for. And this ritual or routine, there's so many people will say, in order to be successful, you need to do X, Y, Z at this time. And it doesn't matter when you do it. There are no rules. I think the most important part is that you find consistency. So look at your schedule and see, like, hey, I can do it every night before bed, or 7 o'clock in the morning is my best time when I'm drinking my coffee before I leave for work, or I get up at 5 o'clock and do my prayer routine. Add it into there. Whatever it is, it just needs to be intentional, and it needs to be a time set aside for you that there are no distractions. You know, some days might be 5 or 10 minutes. Some days you might know you need a little bit more time. So first things first, write what you're grateful for. I usually pick 3. I mean, if things just flow out of my heart and onto the paper, then it just keeps going. You'll notice that your gratitude journal will start with, I'm grateful for my house, my kids, my family. And then eventually it may be, I'm grateful for water because my neighbor's basement flooded, okay? I'm grateful for friends because of what they bring in depth to me, to my relationship with myself, how they can bring a mirror, how I can get better with the right people and right circle of influence. And maybe I'm grateful for my pets because I get exercise because I walk them. It may transition into things like, I'm grateful for that car accident 5 years ago because my life changed. I'm grateful for my experience as a babysitter when I was 12 because now as a mom, I understand more things. Whatever it is, you'll start to connect good parts in your life to what you're grateful for. It will be a philosophy of things happen for me, not to me. And so this didn't happen to me. It happened for me, and this is the lesson that I learned. That takes a little bit of time. But this just, once again, it's just intention. It's just your mindset. And if we know that, and put a sticky note on your computer, in your car, things happen for me, not to me, especially if you have a tendency of really thinking, oh my gosh, when is this all going to end? I mean, am I ever going to catch a break? Is next year going to be any better than this year? Is who else is going to leave me? All these things that happen that we make stories of, and that now that creates our reality. So number 1, gratitude journal. Number 2, scan your day. And I do a lot of things at night. So it's okay, scan your next day. Or if you do it in the morning, really scan your day. What does it look like? Who are you going to encounter? What difficult conversations may you have? What people may come into your path that you might have some resistance with? What's going to bring joy, happiness? Just scan it and see, like, whoa, I really need to be on my game because this and this and this is happening. Or I get a little creativity time. It's about intention in your day and figuring out and deciding how you want it to go. And number 3, under the morning ritual or morning routine, is who do I need to be and how do I want to feel? So if you want to feel, if it's going to be a difficult day of meetings and difficult conversations and decisions, how can I feel grounded and confident? That's how I want to feel. I scan my day. That's how I want to feel. Who do I need to be in order to be that? Well, I might need to let go of my argument, the argument with my husband. I might need to let go of this. I might need to adopt more of this. Whatever it is, this doesn't take long, but it's changing your recurring thoughts that are creating your current reality right now. So tomorrow, we're going to talk about pain. And it's going to be powerful because it's going to combine the aspects of pain, physical, emotional, mental, mindset, and how that actually shows up in our body. These are the things that, I've been adjusting people in my own practice in West Fargo, North Dakota for 15 years. And I have started to see these trends. I start to think about like, this is interesting. This is what happens. And now I'm getting all of this data to be able to teach with. And so tomorrow when we talk about pain, I'm going to give a few examples, a few upper back, mid back pain. Let's just say we're going to take that and we're going to go through mentally what that looks like, how you show up, emotionally, what emotion is tied to it, where does it come from, and then physically, like what actually happens when you experience that kind of pain. We're going to go through that tomorrow, and I'm going to eventually have more information, but just a little blurb. I'm creating this Aligned Life membership, and it is like all of everything that I know and feel and have been and have transformed through and put into a means for you to learn from. It's going to be bite size. You can never get behind. We're always afraid of being behind, right? Or not fitting in. It's a do at your own pace. It's not a in front of everyone. Now I'm going to tell you how broken I am. It's not any of that. It's topics and action steps and roadmaps that will help you build you from the inside, because we can put on a heck of a good face on the outside. But there comes a point that the external isn't good enough anymore. How can you really focus on internal, your confidence, your self-esteem, your self-worth, your health, and how so many, let's say, conditions or issues with health are tied to how we think and how we feel, and what emotion is tied to it. Business, leadership, identity between home and work. So many things that I've either learned or I've just seen the mass of people need to know. Like, it's a need to know basis, and I can't wait to get more out there and allow it in little pieces so you can take whatever you want and leave whatever you want. So stay tuned for that. That is the heart of Dr. Tiff. Adjusting was the heart and hands, but this is truly the heart and voice of getting more out there for you to be able to connect mind and body the best that you possibly can. So stay tuned tomorrow. It's all about pain, and it is powerful. You will identify with many things, and I would bet the people in your circle of influence, you will definitely have some flags that go up, like, oh my gosh, this is going to help that person so much, because all of this is so multidimensional. It's not just one thing. Do this and get that. It's about continuing to tweak and changing the habit, changing the mindset, changing the thoughts, taking action on something that makes you a more connected being instead of a less connected and not eased being. That's difficult to say, not eased. But anyway, not in ease, in stress. Love you all. Can't wait till tomorrow.